Hello, this is part 9 of a video tutorial series on how to code the Asteroids game using Scratch. And what I'd like to focus on in this video is making it so that when you level up after you've destroyed the last rocks on the screen, that something different happens, because at the moment it's exactly like starting the game right at the beginning. And what I would like to happen is every time you level up, more rocks appear in order to make the game more challenging. So that's what I'm going to do now. In order to make more rocks appear, I'm going to need a variable which will give me the number of rocks that are going to be created every time. So I'm going to call this the rocks number, and it's for all sprites, so it's a global variable. And inside the rocks sprite here, this is where the rocks are created at the beginning. So that rocks number is going to go in there. So instead of saying repeat 6, it's going to repeat whatever this rocks number is. And I will have to set this rocks number as soon as the flag is clicked to the number 6, so that it starts out producing 6 rocks right at the very beginning. And then in the rocket ship, this section of blocks here, this is where we level up. And so this rocks number is going to go in here as well, so that the next time it's going to create the number of rocks that corresponds to the rocks number. But I would like this rocks number to change by 1 before it does that, so that you get an extra rock every time. So when we level up, when the number of rocks on the screen, the count rocks, gets to 0, it's going to increase this rocks number by 1, and that means that it's going to go through this repeat loop an extra time whenever you level up, and so you're going to get more rocks on the screen every time. So I'm going to see how this works, and I won't bore you by watching me play the game all over again, so I'll do a quick edit so that you can see what happens as I get to the end. Okay, welcome back. So you can see that I'm nearly at the stage where I'm going to level up. So the thing to look for is whether I have 7 rocks instead of 6 this time. And if I do, I would expect these numbers to show that. So let's see. Okay, you can see that I've got 7 in my count rocks and my rocks number, and it's a bit difficult to see on the screen because they're moving about so much. But there are actually 7 rocks on the screen. So that's working quite well. Another thing that I would like to do before I finish this particular video is just make it so that I've got a score, and the player can see their score each time. So I've turned off those variables that are showing there in the corner, and this is where I want my score to appear. So I'm going to make a new variable for score for all sprites. And right at the beginning of the game, after the flag click, I will want the score to be set to 0. Now inside the rocks sprite and the small rocks, I'm going to be changing the size of score so that it increases every time it gets hit by a lightning bolt. Now, a lot of the time for games like this, you don't just score 1 when you hit a ship, or not a ship, an asteroid or whatever it is that you're supposed to be firing at. Quite often you score much more than that, like you might get a score of 10 or 100, just so it looks like your score is going up very quickly. So after a rock has touched a lightning bolt, I'm going to change the score by 10, and I'm going to give a higher score for the small rocks. So when a small rock hits the lightning bolt, I'm going to change the score by 15. And I'll see how that works. Alright, so you can see that my score is going up there, and it's displaying the score in the corner of the screen for the player to see how much they've got when they're playing the game. And when I click the flag, the score goes back to 0. So that's working perfectly. That's it for this video.